Welcome, everyone. This is 5RoundMMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-host, Albert Cita. This week, we have a lot to talk about. We have our reactions to UFC on ABC1 or UFC Fight Island 7 or UFC Holloway versus Cater, whatever you want to call it. It was a pretty good event. We have reactions to that. We're going to preview the big one, the return of the notorious Conor McGregor, UFC 257. We're going to talk about Roman Reigns getting a new opponent for Royal Rumble. It wasn't Adam Pearce, so we thought they did a swerve, bro.
They just wanted that click.
It was the swerve, bro. To quote our one of our favorites, Vince Russo. What else we got in here too? We're going to talk about Impact. Hard to Kill. We're gonna talk about reactions to that. Probably one of the biggest pay-per-views in Impact history, at least in recent history. And for some reason, we're talking about ESPN hyping up Khabib for some reason, and he had a quote saying what he's looking for at UFC 257. But Albert, how's it going, man? We're a couple weeks into January. Everybody's surviving on your end.
Surprisingly, the year's actually starting off not that bad.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you live in a vacuum, apparently.
Yeah, I'm 2 weeks in, and I'm trying to eat a little bit better.
Okay.
Keyword trying. We'll see if I succeed.
Now, are you doing any diets or just kind of caloric intake?
I'm literally just trying to eat healthy.
Okay.
Like, I got no specific diet, because I'm one of those guys that, like, I can't commit to nothing, dog. I can't commit to no diet. Come on now. So I'm just trying to do my best educated choice on the stuff I try to consume.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
And you know what? That's the best way to go, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I've heard that every diet, quote unquote, will work. That's just you have to eat that way the rest of your life. Right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to go on paleo or keto, that's the way you have to eat, because your body's going to be used to that. So you can't have it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So, good for you, man. So you're gonna post a before picture and whatever your journey through the whole year.
So I already took a fat picture of myself. Of before. I'm gonna just throw it out there right now. I'm gonna do it for Kobe. So I put 24 weeks on my calendar.
All right, I like that.
So I'm gonna try consciously eat better for 24 weeks. I'm also in the corner of my studio, I got a gym that's collecting dust.
Yeah,
I need to dust it off.
It's a coat rack now.
Yeah, it's a coat rack. I need to uncoat rack it, and I'm gonna try to do 24 weeks straight. Let's see if I like it. Don't hold me to it.
Okay.
I'm not about. Don't commit to me, all right, Alex?
We'll check in next week. How about that?
Yeah.
I think actually didn't some fan lost like 80+ pounds because after Kobe scored 62 in his final game, was like so motivated. He was like a heavyset dude. Like one of their jerseys was so tight on him that he like started losing weight and like lost all this weight because of Kobe's inspirational performance on his last game ever. So hey man, if you get that Mamba mentality right here, I think you can do it. All things are possible with Mamba. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with round number 1 here. Let me start this timer. UFC on ABC1 or UFC Fight Island 7, whatever you want to call it. Just make sure you put in the blessed one. Blessed once again, the highlight on the UFC webpage here. Blessed once again, Max Holloway puts on a clinic against Calvin Kattar. Albert, I mean, Max Holloway was one of the best flyweights. Featherweights before this, he loses 2 in a row, both title fights. People are, well, what's up with Max Holloway now? Comes back, shuts all those doubters up. Well, give me a couple of your thoughts on Max Holloway's performance.
I just want to say it was a championship performance, and I'm just stunned, like the levels there really are when it comes to combat sports.
Very true.
I mean, you got the guys that sure they got knockout power, but to go to the body, the head. I mean, wear down your opponent the way Max Holloway did today. It's just in another level. Like, yeah. I'm starting to see myself admire more fights like this than those knockouts, because there's just levels to this game that I can't even come close to comprehending. Yeah. But it's just a beauty to watch.
Yeah, and I think Albert and I have always pointed out we've never trained MMA. We're just fans of it. So, like, to do the intricate details of footwork, we don't really break that down here. But when somebody puts on a performance that good, like, okay, it's that obvious that this dude's on a different level. And that's what Max Holloway did on Saturday. It was that obvious that this dude is, and Kattar was no slouch. He was not a tomato can. Tough dude.
Dude, I honestly thought in the last round it was going to get stopped. Dude, he was, every chance it looked like it was going to get stopped, he fired back.
Yeah.
It looked like he was getting ready, he fired back. So, wow, like, he was a warrior in there. And, man, tell me that didn't hype you up at the end when Max Holloway's calling him out.
Yeah.
He's literally dancing in the octagon. Love it. That's the stuff I see. There's very few fighters that get it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain to people why Conor's such a phenomenon. It's because Conor gets it, and people don't understand, like, oh, Conor's not really that good, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not talking about his skill level. I'm talking about he gets it. And Max Holloway gets it. The fact that he does all this extra stuff outside of MMA, the fact that he does the way he, doing that last minute, that's what hypes people up.
Yeah.
That's what people pay to see.
Yeah.
I want to pay to see that. I don't care about Khabib being the best grappler. You bore me, bro. I don't want to see it.
Yeah. So basically, he said he's going to stick around in Abu Dhabi because I think it's next week, or is McGregor's been fighting there again. So just in case anything happened, he's going to be prepared and like that. Is he getting the winner of the championship featherweight bout, or where is he at now? He's saying, like, I'm going to stick around and possibly fight at 155. Is Max Holloway saying, like, hey, I'm going to be,
I think,
any weight class that kind of,
I think he still wants to run that Dustin Poirier matchup again.
Yeah.
This is a guy that hates losing.
Yeah.
And two guys are fighting next week
that he both lost to.
He lost to. And I think he is drooling to get his hands on either or.
Yeah.
Whether it be Conor McGregor or Dustin Poirier. He wants to run back both of those. And I don't blame him. I mean, I think that'll be an awesome matchup. I go back to that Dustin Poirier fight. I just don't get what really went wrong there. I really had Max Holloway the whole time, like, dude, Max Holloway has to win this fight. And I think it shocked a lot of people how well Dustin Poirier put it on him.
Yeah.
And something feels like Max Holloway just
knows it too, right?
Knows it too. Like, he's like, no, dude, like, I'm the better fighter. I should have won that fight.
Yeah.
And I see it. And then with the whole Conor McGregor, I mean, it was so early on in his career, and you got to run that back.
Yeah, I think you have to too. We got less than a minute left. One of the big highlights I want to talk about: Carlso Condit defeating Matt Brown.
That's a highlight.
Condit looked pretty good though, man. I mean,
look,
they're already painting that story of, like, the one final run. He's ran back 2 in a row. Look, former interim champion, former WEC champion, Carlso Condit, man, he took care of Matt Brown. What he's supposed to do.
I said it last podcast. He had to win in a phenomenal way.
Yeah, and he didn't really do that.
For me to really get behind him on this final run.
Yeah.
Honestly, he had a good performance. He showed up. I think he should leave in a high.
Where's he? Like, that's it now. Don't try and come back.
No, I think he should leave in a high. Again, I'm not trying to disrespect anyone, but Matt Brown is not a stepping stone towards a title.
Yeah, he should have beat Matt Brown.
Yeah,
he should have actually knocked out Matt Brown.
Exactly. If he would have viciously just finished Matt Brown, I would get behind it. But no, come on, man.
Yeah. All right, that's it for round number 1. We're gonna come back and talk about. We're gonna actually preview UFC 257, the big one. We'll see if we can spend only 5 minutes on Conor McGregor, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna expand a little more. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 2. We also should note that there is a UFC Fight Night event this Wednesday. I think it's January 20th, I believe. Michael Chiesa versus Neil Magny. Good fights on a Wednesday, though. I'm at work. So we're not going to preview it. We'll have our reactions to it when we come back next week. So I don't want to have any people say, hey, what about that fight? We'll talk about, we'll touch base on it next week. But when you have Conor McGregor, even the UFC, nothing else matters other than the notorious one. Hate to say it, but well, I don't hate to say it. Some guys hate to say it. Some people hate to say it. But hey, he is the cash king, the golden goose, the all-end-all for Mr. Dana White for UFC. Conor McGregor returns after a year layoff. UFC 257 will start this timer now against Dustin Poirier, which is going to be pretty much a title eliminator now. At first it wasn't, now it is. So pretty much the whole lightweight division's on hold to see what Conor McGregor does. Co-main event Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker is going to make his official UFC debut. He's not going to be fighting, making weight, and getting paid for it. He has a make weight and getting the octagon against Dan Hooker. It's going to be a tough test for him. Got Jessica Eye versus Joanne Calderwood. What else we got down the main card? That's about it, Albert. And then we got a couple other fights here as well, but kind of top heavy. All that matters is really Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. We kind of just talk about the big stuff here. We don't go too much into the details. One, because we're limited on time here, and plus that,
and we gotta save some for the other podcasts.
Exactly. So McGregor versus Poirier. How do you see this fight? Sort of, it's basically Conor McGregor, right? He has to win this fight, right?
Yeah. No ifs, ands, or buts. He has to win this if you want to keep the Conor train moving.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. I believe what Conor said. I think he finishes him in the first round.
Really?
And he finishes him quick.
Okay. I think too. I think he's gonna win. I think he's just something about this dude, man. Like, he's one of those, like, if you put it out there, it's gonna happen. You gotta talk about it. He talks about it. The words of affirmation, right? You say it enough times, it becomes reality. Obviously, he works towards it. He's not just sitting on his couch saying it's going to happen. He works towards it. And this dude, man, he's like one of those generation fighters, athletes that says, you know what, this dude, I'm going to say it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to work towards it, and it happens, man. But so much just revolves around this guy. I want to touch Nate Diaz is supposed to fight again. Dana White says it's going to be at 155, but we don't know who yet. It's not Tony Ferguson. I'm pretty sure if McGregor loses, it's going to be Nate Diaz, right? But
yeah,
so much is like the whole lightweight division is on hold after Saturday night,
and it always is. It's funny because I hear people act like we that certain media doesn't listen to the social media.
Yeah,
and we're very aware of the social media. We are very aware of all the Conor McGregor haters. They hate hearing them. They call them Conor fanboys.
Yeah.
And but it's the reality. 155 is hold up again, not because Khabib retired, because we haven't seen Conor McGregor fight yet.
Yep.
Because everything's on this table. Conor wins, don't even play me, Khabib. You gonna get that.
Yeah.
Conor loses, Nate Diaz is in it.
Yep.
Michael Chandler is not. Again, we've been talking about Michael Chandler since we started the podcast again. He's a smart guy. He's on this card for a reason.
Yeah.
He's not. He didn't pick Dan Hooker, UFC 257, just because he's ready to fight. It's a smart move. All right. You're in the same event as Conor McGregor, in the same weight class as Conor McGregor. You best believe you want your name attached to Conor McGregor, and that's the reason you're on this fight.
And you're lined up, right?
Yeah.
We're lined up. We
how
both
can
could fight 2 months, 3 months from now.
Let's say Khabib has a second. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Nate is too far out, I think, to get it. Michael Chandler goes in there and destroys Dan Hooker. How do you not give it to Michael Chandler?
That's a good point. Good point. I mean, do I like it that everything's hold up with Conor McGregor? No, because he's one of the reasons why my boy Tony Ferguson doesn't get the respect that he deserves, because of McGregor. But I mean, when you're as big of a draw as that guy is, how do you not hold up everything? How do you not create titles for him, create events for him, create all this stuff specifically for him? So it's unfortunate that all these fighters are kind of just, it's McGregor and everything else revolves around him. But Dustin Poirier has the opportunity to be a big spoiler and all that, and kind of maybe be a Thanos and snap his fingers and put everything back in center, right? Okay, word. You know what? If Dustin Poirier wins, this is a lightweight division where, I'm sorry, the best fighters are the champions, not whoever's the top draw. And if he does that, he's proved that, hey, I'm one of the best guys, and let's start knocking them out. Let's give me Michael Chandler. Let's give me Tony Ferguson. Let's give me these top guys, Charles Oliveira. Now we're gonna find out who's truly is the best, as opposed to who can make the most money. So yeah, then we'll see. Michael Chandler too, like you said, Dan Hooker's no easy test at all. Really is kind of a card all about Conor McGregor, man. So we'll see how that goes. What else on the prelims? We go on the prelims here. We just scroll down.
Yeah, Brad Tavares.
Oh yeah, Juliana Pena's in there on the prelims.
Sarah McMahon.
Kill Roundtree. What's on the early prelims? One more time. We got like 20 seconds left. Andrew Sanchez, former guest, by the way. Nick Lentz. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty much top heavy. Right? No disrespect to everybody else, but
that's what we expected.
yeah, exactly. So that's it for round number 2. We're gonna switch gears. Actually, we're gonna keep it the same here, but we talked about Khabib, and he was quoted, well, per Dana White, what he's looking for specifically off of this UFC 257 card. Do not go anywhere.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 3, and for some reason, I'm going to blame ESPN on this, but they're trying to make this Khabib returning or leaving the door open a bigger thing than I think it really is. I think they made like a meme of like comparing it to the LeBron's decision. I think it was ESPN. I'm pretty sure it was something. Like, it's not even that big of a deal. But I guess Dana White came out and said during the fight night that Khabib is open to it, but he's looking for something spectacular out of the Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor and the Dan Hooker versus Michael Chandler, which I really don't think is going to come out of retirement for Dan Hooker or Michael Chandler. So I'm thinking, like you mentioned in the previous round, if Conor McGregor knocks out Dustin Poirier within 2 rounds, that big money fight's there. Even though I don't see it, honestly, breaking down any different than it did before. I don't see McGregor stuffing a takedown from Khabib. But what are your thoughts on people trying to hype Khabib's return and making this him saying, I'm looking for something spectacular to kind of to tickle my interest to come back?
It's pretty simple. Anything that has to do in the millions,
yeah,
will spark his interest.
Yeah.
So I think we're clowning ourselves and everybody else if we aren't stating the obvious that if he faces Conor McGregor again, there's millions involved.
Yeah.
And there is no way Khabib not only cannot make that type of money in somewhere else, it's a winnable fight since he has already won it.
Yeah, man.
So to me, it's like almost a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Do one more. You get the big paycheck one more time in a fight that you know that you can win.
30-0. You go out the sunset.
Exactly. And then even though he won that first fight by stoppage, there was tons of rumors about Conor having a hurt foot.
Okay.
Potentially.
Here comes the McGregor apologist here in the room.
And the fact that leading up to the fight, he was drinking a little bit more than his training camp would have liked.
Okay.
This training camp, he hasn't drank at any of the proper 12. You will not see him sipping on part 12 until after the fight.
Yeah.
So it gets a cloudy win, and then what happened afterwards in that fight, everything gets that matchup gets very cloudy.
Yeah, well, the
You know what I'm
UFC,
saying?
the UFC is going to sell.
You need a clean victory, I feel, for the dust to really settle between them two.
Clean, gracious. I'm not going to hop the fence. I'm gonna,
Exactly.
I see what you get. Like, if I'm Khabib, okay, you're going to pay me millions upon millions to really essentially just go through a training camp and then do all the media. Because I know come fight night, I'm going to handle this dude like I did before. And it's not going to be an issue drinking or not drinking. I'm Khabib. Okay, I can do that. But, again, like the last round, it all depends on what Conor McGregor does. If he scrapes away a 5-minute split decision off of Dustin Poirier, maybe do you really, really kind of justify him getting a title shot? But then you had the Nate Diaz. Let's put him in against Nate. We'll say the winner gets Khabib. If he's able to finish Nate, then you go that too. So, again, it all depends on what even Khabib getting paid all depends on what Conor McGregor does. So I think Dana White is really paraphrasing when he says Khabib's looking for something spectacular from the main event and co-main event. Khabib's not gonna come out and fight. No respect to Dan Hooker, no disrespect, but come on, bro. He's gonna come out for Dan Hooker. Really was impressive with Michael Chandler. I'm coming out of retirement for you, Dan Hooker. 30-0 against you.
The only reason I would even consider Michael Chandler being a serious opponent for Khabib is that Khabib has always been criticized that the reason he's so dominant is because he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
And he never really faced a wrestler.
Michael Chandler's a wrestler.
That's why the Tony Ferguson matchup was so interesting, because Tony was a genius on the ground. And if Khabib put him on the ground, where Khabib has the majority of his wins at, that he wasn't going to be able to put away Tony, that Tony was going to
scramble and get out of wiggle worm.
And so with Michael Chandler being, I can't think of another top tier wrestler in that weight class, the caliber of Michael Chandler, It's the only way I would think that. So if Conor loses, but Michael Chandler just destroys Dan Hooker and he shows off his wrestling skills, does a beautiful call out at the end. I mean, you got to sell it too.
Yeah.
I could see potentially maybe we see that matchup just because, again, it's all about the way it's written. And if it's like, he will leave no doubt, like, not only did I win 30-0, whatever, I beat a wrestler.
Yeah.
Which many of the criticism was, I never faced a wrestler.
Yeah. Is that 5 minutes?
That's 5 minutes.
5 minutes of stuff goes by fast when we're talking about Conor McGregor. All right, that's it for round number 3. We're going to switch gears and talk about the world of professional wrestling. We're going to see the swerve that happened on Friday night, bro. It's a swerve. Roman Reigns gets a new title challenger for Royal Rumble 2021. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk about that next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 4. We're going to switch gears, talk about the WWE Royal Rumble coming up on Sunday, January 31st, one of the biggest events of the year, one of my favorites, probably my favorite one of the year. Aside from the Royal Rumble match, we're going to have 2 World Championship bouts, one of them being Roman Reigns, which was originally announced to be Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce won it like a random match on SmackDown to become the number 1 contender, who Adam Pearce is like a backstage agent on and so it's kind of funny. Roman Reigns going to face a guy who hasn't wrestled like in 10 years, right? So, but then they came out this past Friday, and Adam Pearce was injured and like did a contract type of thing and said, no, I'm going to have you face Kevin Owens now. But now it's going to be the last man standing match. So we have it official now. Unless you switch it again, unless another swerve. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens for the Royal Rumble at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Universal Championship. I believe in the last man standing match here. What do you think about this swerve? Good storytelling on WWE's part?
Heck no. And stop. They did not, this wasn't some elaborate setup.
This wasn't part of the plan?
I think they saw the backlash. They saw how dumb they messed up about putting Adam Pearce, even trying that.
Yeah.
That they quickly switched it up on us. And just to show you, people don't understand the politics in wrestling. I think the generic public don't know the politics. Luckily for us, we've seen some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And I can tell you for a fact, Adam Pearce is a good politician in the back. There's a reason why he was a booker in other organizations, why he booked himself as a champion.
Yeah.
Why Kevin Owens rose so high in Ring of Honor. His boy buddy El Generico did the same thing. I mean, there's some guys I know how to talk in the back. And Adam Pearce is one of them. And I think he got through, and it was just a matter of all the comments that they were reading, and they said, oh, no, we were just kidding. It was always Kevin Owens.
I think it took a lot of the kind of specialty accounts on social media to say, oh, this is who Adam Pearce was. Because
they were trying to sell it.
To the WWE Universe, he's a nobody. Because he's never even wrestled in WWE. Like, I could see it if, like, I think that Hurricane is a producer now or an agent in the back. I think he is.
He used to be.
Or, like, somebody like that at that level who had a long history in WWE where the fans, oh, that's a Hurricane. That makes more sense to, hey, this is the guy who has wrestled 10 years that we're going to put against Roman Reigns, as opposed to Adam Pearce, who made his name on the indie scene and, NWA. But the WWE audience, to the WWE universe, to the, the casuals, I don't know who he is. So maybe that was that, or even making that as a plan. I don't understand that.
Exactly. That was going to be my next point. Let's give WWE the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And it was something they had planned all along. How does that make any sense? How does it make any? How do I get excited over that? How does that intrigue me? How is this? It does nothing. If anything, it just annoys me.
Yeah, I don't know who the current producers are. I think D'Lo Brown was one of them.
Well, now he's with Impact, D'Lo Brown.
I think so, yeah, too. But I'm just saying in the past, like Arn Anderson, he's not there anymore, but he was there. But those are all familiar names in the WWE universe. Somebody like that, whoever's in that current role now, okay, I can see that. But Adam Pearce, no history at all. I don't get it. So this one, we'll focus now to this. Roman Reigns is going to WrestleMania as champion, right?
He has to.
Yeah.
He has to. And if it's not this year, it's going to be the next year, and it has to be The Rock.
Yeah.
Has to be. all this has to lead to him versus The Rock. And if it doesn't, shame on WWE.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
come on.
Well,
that's the story.
If we can
He's
get
the head of the table.
Oh yeah.
But let's keep it real. Who's the head of the table? It's The Rock.
Yeah, but it's gonna wait for an audience to come there.
Yeah.
Packed house, not 50% capacity. So 100 million vaccines better come right away. And forget that. So hopefully he can keep this up in maybe 2022.
Dude,
Get it going?
If they can't do The Rock this year at WrestleMania,
They can't.
he's all right. Then they can't.
Yeah.
He's holding it until the next WrestleMania.
Yeah, but then he has to be a heel the whole time.
Yeah,
so.
he's going to do it.
I like that. Heel Roman Reigns for a champion for over a year.
Yeah,
give it to me
and
all day.
With something that
all day long.
With something that beefy,
all year long.
That juicy. I wouldn't mind it played out in the long run.
You know what? The marks are gonna hate it because Roman Reigns is the longest champion ever, longest reigning Universal Champion ever. I like it though. If he's a heel,
even better. Imagine going into WrestleMania and saying, I know what you've done, The Rock, but I've done something you've never done.
Yeah.
I held this belt for blah, blah. Come on.
Yeah.
It writes itself.
All right. So we'll see. Hopefully this is kind of stays put as it is. I think it should be a pretty good match as it is. We got one more round coming up next. We're going to talk about Impact Wrestling, Hard to Kill. We're going to look at the recap on that and see what's next for the AEW and Impact partnership. Don't go anywhere.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for the fifth and final round. This past Saturday was probably the biggest pay-per-view in Impact history, recent history at least. This was a crossover event. AEW World Champion Kenny Omega and Impact Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, took on Rich Swann, who was the Impact World Champion and was supposed to be the Motor City Machine Guns, but Alex Shelley was a last minute couldn't compete, so it was Chris Sabin and Moose in the 6-man tag. And as you see here, right on the Impact website, Kenny Omega pins Rich Swann in historic 6-man main event at Hard to Kill. A lot of good matches on this card to begin with, but we only got 5 minutes to talk about it. We gotta talk about the main event. Kenny Omega pins Impact World Champion 1, 2, 3 on Impact pay-per-view in the Impact ring. What do you make of this call?
I think it's pretty easy to see what's going on here. Where it has to lead to Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega for the Impact World title.
Okay, does it happen in Impact or on AEW?
It happens on Impact.
Okay.
And not only that, I feel like the final destination, as you will, is for Kenny to get several world titles.
Okay.
Before we end this little storyline.
Okay.
Several.
Okay. So what's the rub here for Impact other than getting some mention on AEW?
It's 100% ratings.
Okay.
I think Impact is one of those organizations that, man, it is tough to get rid of Impact.
They've been around longer than WCW.
They survived some really bad times. I mean, some really bad times. I used to be such a big TNA fan. We had the Kurt Angle. We had
TNA watch parties.
Yeah,
we had parties for TNA pay-per-views.
Yeah, and then Hulk Hogan came in.
Eric Bischoff came in,
and it was just garbage. It was just garbage.
Aces and 8. Then for some reason they gave Bubba Ray Dudley the keys to the castle, and of course he books himself champion. But anyways,
and then they played musical chairs with the networks.
Yeah.
You know
they couldn't find them.
I couldn't even tell you what channel they were on at one point because I didn't know if they were on Impact something, Discovery Channel, or what. So they're a very unique organization, and I think
they are hard to kill.
Yeah, they really are. And I honestly think all this is just to bring them up to a certain caliber. Because again, at the end of the day, I keep saying this, and I said it the last podcast, is it's going to click with New Japan and everybody else that look. We can have a main roster, but if we can get these Kenny Omegas to do appearances here and there, and I'm just saying Kenny Omega, but other wrestlers, it's awesome for their business and the business because they don't have to pay. Kenny Omega is a high. I mean, he could have went to WWE and got paid millions.
Yeah. Right.
The whole point is for other organizations not to pay so much for. I mean, they can't really afford to have such every talent. It's impossible. In this way, as a wrestling fan, we see the matchups we want to see, but at the same time, you're still gonna come back to Impact for their main roster. You know, Moose being one of them. Even though Moose could be one of those potential stars that can go to AEW, New Japan, and this cross promotion thing. But the fact that I'm not gonna get enough Moose, and if I want Moose, you get Impact. But you won't know who Moose is unless he
that crossover.
Exactly. So I think this is the actual goal that's going on here. It's just at this point, there's so much talent in wrestling that deserves so much money that not one organization can afford it.
Yeah, I think I'm guilty of it, and I think a lot of fans are like, what are we doing? What's the plan now? And like, if anything, like we've learned since day one, and Kenny Omega, man, he plays the long game, right? He's all about let it stew, let's stretch it out. And if it does end up to him and Ibushi battling it out, man, that's like a 10-year storyline. But I think,
and then just so if you could just close your eyes for a minute, Alex.
Okay.
Ibushi has 2 belts.
Yes.
Kenny Omega wins the Impact belt.
Yeah.
He has 2 belts.
Yeah.
Look at that poster already. You got 2-belt Kenny versus 2-belt Ibushi.
Yeah.
Tell me that is not glorious.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
I'm telling you right now. And I'm sorry that if they use my idea, I will pay $100 for this pay-per-view.
Ibushi versus Omega.
If the main event was this is a caveat. If it's double champ Kenny Omega versus double champ,
all the belts
Ibushi,
on the line,
all the bites on the line,
all the belts on the line.
I will pay $100 for that pay-per-view.
And Albert is one of the cheapest guys I know. So there you go.
Ask around. I am cheap, bro.
Well, that's it for this week's show. Again, I literally think like we're so used to storylines being rushed, people coming. That's how we're trained now. So like, it's almost I have to sit back and appreciate this long storytelling if it's going to be a long story, which I think it has to be if we're going to get these different promotions to work together. So sit back, everybody. Let's just find out and see what's going to happen. Just kind of like Chris Jericho, man, just drinking in, man. That's it for this week's show. Thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you keep up to date with us on social media, primarily Instagram and Twitter, both at FiveRoundMMA. It's FiveRoundMMA. We're also on. I created a TikTok profile for us. I don't have any content on there,
bro.
Yeah, well, I don't know how it works, so I gotta do some tutorials on that.
I'm not dancing.
I got to. We'll see. Hold on. Maybe I can get you to do something on there. And then we're on that too. If you can find us on TikTok or however you do it, I just downloaded it, so we're on there. Please like, subscribe to us on YouTube, turn on notifications, leave us comments on there as well on all of our platforms, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We'll engage in the conversation. That's all we talk about is wrestling and MMA. So please do that as well. If you're interested in any sponsorships or business inquiries, you can email us at FiveRoundMMA@gmail.com. That's FiveRoundMMA@gmail.com. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in, spending your time with us here, whether it be on your podcast, Podomatic, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, we're available. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, really great. Appreciate you guys taking the time out to listen to us talk about what we've been talking about for years now. So that is it for this week's show. Albert, got any parting words?
Nah, just thank everybody for listening.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for tuning in.